owner of the Bonds Barbershop brands, Mike Taylor Education, the Great British Barbering Academy, and author of the Mike Taylor Education Resource Book. Been a barber for nearly 30 years and I love it. Been teaching barbering for 15 years. So I've been around the circuit for a long time. And I absolutely love barbering, I love the trade, I love educating. So I really hope you enjoy this theory lesson and get what you need out of it. But if you don't, I'm the sort of guy I'm always happy to help. So drop me an email at info@miketayloreducation.com if there's any questions you need answered or anything you need to ask me at all. Anyway, enjoy the lesson.
Advise and consult. You must carry out a thorough consultation before any service. It is a verbal agreement between yourself and your client. Getting the right information during your consultation will lead to your client getting the right haircut. Ask open questions to gain maximum information and close questions for direct responses. Don't forget, not everything is visible, so you will need to find out lots of information from your client. There are many factors that may affect the service, such as hair type. There are 3 types of hair. Caucasian. This hair type can be straight, wavy or curly and can vary in colour from dark brown to light blonde. Asian. Asian hair is usually very straight, coarse and strong and varies in colour from dark brown to light brown. An African Caribbean. This hair is usually very tightly curled and very dark. Hair classification. During consultation, you will need to use visual and manual hair testing to correctly analyse the hair and identify the hair type. Density refers to the number of hairs on the head, whereas texture refers to the circumference of an individual hair. This is a hair classification table and will help you to correctly analyse the hair type. It varies from type 1 to type 4 hair depending on whether it's straight or curly, and A to C depending on whether it's fine or coarse. Type 1 hair is straight, type 2 is wavy, type 3 is curly, and type 4 is very curly. A is fine hair, B is medium density, and C is coarse hair. Head and face shape. The chosen style must complement the head and face shape. Sometimes styles may be unflattering for a client's face shape. For example, if the client has a long face, avoid hairstyles with height on top and long beards, as this will elongate the face further. Hair growth patterns. These will influence the chosen style and may prevent the client from having certain styles. For example, if a client has a cowlick, this could prevent them from having a full blunt fringe. Adverse hair, skin or scalp conditions. These may affect the service or, in some circumstances, may prevent the service from being carried out. For example, if you identify nits, you will not be able to carry out the service. Lifestyle. It is important to make sure that the hairstyle chosen is suitable for the lifestyle of the client. For example, does the client have time to style their hair each morning? If not, then you will need to go for a hairstyle with less maintenance than something that might need to be blow dried into place each morning and a lot of product to be used. Incompatibility of previous products or services. This may affect the service and or products that can be used. For example, if a client that has a skin fade using the foil shavers has developed ingrown hairs, which could lead to infection, you may advise to carry out a razor fade or just using a 0 grade. Skin elasticity. If skin has less elasticity, you may need to pull the skin more taut to enable a more comfortable shave. Skin with more elasticity may need less tension. Moles and skin tags. You will need to look around the head and face to check where any moles and skin tags are and work around these areas more gently. Presence of male pattern baldness. The choice of look may be restricted due to the pattern of baldness. You also need to ensure that the client has realistic expectations of the end result. Hair growth patterns. Recognising hair growth patterns is an important part of the consultation as they may affect the service. Cow's lick. A cow's lick is a small section of hair, usually at the front hairline, that either stands up straight or lays in the opposite direction to the rest of the hair. Double crown. Normally a person will have a section of hair at the crown of the head that appears to grow in a circular direction. In some circumstances, people have a double crown where this growth pattern appears twice, usually side by side. With these growth patterns, it's important to make sure that you go with them. And with a double crown, you either need to take the hair shorter so that it doesn't stick up on end, or leave it longer so that the weight weighs it down so that it lays flatter. Nape whirl. A nape whirl is where the hair grows in a spiral or curved shape at the nape. This can be on either side of the head and sometimes can be on both, which will form a V shape. Widow's peak. A widow's peak is a V-shaped point in the hairline in the centre of the forehead. Hair tests. Sometimes it may be necessary to carry out hair and skin tests prior to carrying out a hair or barbering service. These will help to protect clients' hair and skin, safeguard the reputation of yourself and the business, and help to avoid legal action. A skin test. The purpose of a skin test is to test for a reaction against colour. Skin tests must be carried out 48 hours prior to colour. Place a small amount of colour mixed with peroxide in the bend of the elbow, not behind the ear. Leave uncovered for 45 minutes, then rinse with lukewarm water. Pat dry with a towel and leave undisturbed for 48 hours. After 48 hours, look for signs of rash, redness, swelling, burning or itching. If you notice any of these signs, do not use the product and call your doctor. Additionally, if irritation occurs within the first 45 minutes of applying to your elbow, rinse immediately. Elasticity test. The purpose of an elasticity test is to test the strength of the hair. Take a few strands of the hair between the forefinger and the thumb of each hand and gently stretch. Hair in good condition should return to its original length. Hair in bad condition will not return and may break. Porosity test. The purpose of a porosity test is to determine the condition of the cuticle. Take a few strands of hair between the forefinger and thumb of one hand. With the other forefinger and thumb, run your hand up the hair from end to root. If it feels smooth, the hair is not porous. If it feels rough, the hair is porous. What you're feeling for is the cuticle of the hair strand. So if the cuticle scales are open, you will feel them and you'll feel the roughness of the cuticle scales. If the cuticle scales are closed, it will feel smooth. Strand test. The purpose of a strand test is a preliminary test to determine the suitability or result for colour or bleach. Take a small test cutting from the hair. Mix a small amount of tint or bleach with peroxide and apply to the cutting and await development. Rinse, dry and check the result. Incompatibility test. The purpose of an incompatibility test is to determine the presence of metallic salts. Prior to the service, a cutting is taken and placed in a solution of 20 ml of 6% hydrogen peroxide and 1 ml of ammonium hydroxide. If it produces bubbles or heat or the hair disintegrates, the service must not be carried out. Development test. The purpose of a development test is to find out if a perm has fully developed. Unwind one perm rod 1.5 times and hold up towards the scalp. If the size of the S shape corresponds to the size of the perm rod, the processing is complete.